Birmingham has between 480 and 500 cemeteries. Not everybody knows where they all are. You might be living right next to one and don't even have a clue. And that's why I created a video series called Cemetery Saturdays. The astute and calendar-oriented among you might notice that today is actually Sunday and not Saturday for Cemetery Saturday, but it's the very first one, and that's how I roll. There are many lost cemeteries in Jefferson County, Alabama. There are over 480 cemeteries, somewhere between there and 500. And of those, about 30 of them are just totally, no one knows where they're at. I have to go dig them out. Dig them out! It's just like comedy! Ah! Today we're going to start with a little unknown, unnamed African American cemetery that is just off of Port Madrid Boulevard, right around 67th Street. I was originally told that it was a mining cemetery, but on further research I have discovered that probably it just served the community right around, at the time, Porto Road, because it didn't become a Porto Madrid until later. It is just a cemetery that's off the side of the road in the woods. It has about 6 actual gravestones, which we'll show later. This little cemetery has between 150 and 200 graves. It is not some little family side of the road cemetery. There are graves that are mostly unmarked, and the only reason you know they're there is because of the depressions in the ground. That is why modern cemeteries have rules that you have to have a concrete vault, because it keeps, when the coffin rots, from collapsing. And so you have this vault that you are put into. You have your own little eternal concrete cubbyhole. There are about 6 marked graves that range from an adopted child to someone who is in their 60s. The reason why I believe it is not just a mine cemetery is because at least one of the graves is a lady who lived in a house that is just over the hill, that the house is gone and it's where the little daycare center is now. The records for this cemetery are completely lost. I contacted the Walter Mines people, who do not have any record of it, and so it's not on Find a Grave, but I'm going to be putting it on there and listing these 6 graves that are actually marked. There are a bunch of graves that are marked with just a rock, but there's no names. Nobody knows who's buried there. No one's probably ever going to know who's buried there, and that is very sad, because those are people that lived and worked and died, and now they're lost to history. It's a very tragic thing when you have been born and worked and lived and died, and you're buried and no one knows where. I will of course document these cemeteries with extensive photographs and write-ups, and that will be in the show notes below. If you know of a cemetery around town that is just this little backwoods, in your backyard type cemetery, then please let me know. I'm pretty sure my list is not complete, because there are all kinds of little 2 and 3 grave cemeteries that nobody knows about. I have just recently found out there is a gypsy cemetery, and you better damn believe I'm going to go check that out. And there is a cemetery where the little record says that they dug up a grave and the person was petrified. So that's going to definitely be on the list. That kind of stuff I just am all over. If you have questions and comments, put them in the comments down below. If you like this, please sign up on Patreon, because making these videos is not my primary job yet, but I would sure like it to be. I'm kind of reluctant on most of these cemeteries to actually say perfectly where they're at because vandalism is a real concern. If you know me personally or send me a message on my various social medias and I know who you are or you're recommended by someone I know, then I might give you the information so that you can go and explore the cemetery. Or if you're a legitimate agency or whatever that is going to document, preserve, etc., then of course I will give you the information. But just going, hey, here's a Google map right there, I'm kind of reluctant to do because people do go into cemeteries and be total douchebags and knock over the headstones and fuck them up. And that's just no. If you get the information for these off of my videos and then are a total douchebag and go and fuck up a cemetery, then karma is an extreme bitch and will find you. These videos are made possible by the Birmingham Historic Touring Company and viewers like you. Please come and see all of our events at our website.